Welcome to the Axiom. New file detected. Launching file.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Leo, and today we are continuing the Disco Elysium file. Where we last left off, we had entered this bunker, this anti-aircraft station, and we found out that someone was living here, had kind of like a survivalist squatter type situation. We went to sleep and we had a dream where we saw our ex-wife as Dolores Day, and we talked to her. We found out that um, there had been some kind of miscarriage. She left him. Uh, they no longer loved each other, and he feels both love and hate for her because he still loves her, but he feels like she betrayed him. And then we went outside and we found the origin of the shot. We found a spot where, looking through the slit in the window slit, like where people would point snipers, you can see right into Classier's room. So yeah, we then open the door. Really quick, I want to see what the other buttons do.
A dim golden glow animates the console, faint like a ghost light. Urgence ouvert reads one dial key. Allumé reads another.
Let's go ahead and slide the radio dial just to see what happens.
The dial slides under the dusty glass, dark and silent, despite the power being on. You make out defunct stations on the UKV frequency. The words "failed insula" are written on the band.
Insular. This is an off-air radio computer, I believe, used for military communications.
Oh, okay, so it doesn't connect to the normal radios. It would only connect to a specific frequency that probably isn't used anymore. Light interior?
The lighting in the room turns on with a sizzle, a dim ambient orange.
Leave? Do I want the lights on? Oh no, wait, I don't want to run. I mean, he already knows I'm here, so like... I wonder if that actually... Let me really quick see if turning on the lights changed the shit.
Soft covers, serialized.
Nope. Alright. So... yeah, let's go ahead and head out the blast door and see what lies ahead of us. Kim had said we might have to prepare for another fight. We no longer have bullets in our gun, but Kim does. Hopefully this will be fine. I have no idea, but let's see. It's completely silent. The music hasn't kicked in yet. But maybe that's intentional. What the heck? A rubber dinghy. It's deflated. Broken. The music is on, yeah. Okay. Small white flowers blossom all around you. You mean like the Maybells that were left on Classier's windowsill? Oh, hi, fire guy. You have a gun in your hands. And I don't see anything else to interact with. There isn't anything over here, is there? Really quick before I engage that dude. I don't know why the sound is cutting in and out. Hi.
An old man wearing tracksuit trousers leans on the frame stock of his rifle. He gathers a big ball of spit in his mouth, then spits it out into the extinguished fire before him. He raises his black eyes, hooded by creased eyelids, to meet yours. Unclouded by cataracts, his eyesight is sharp.
It would have to be for a sniper.
He's practically tearing up from spite. Hatred got the best of him a long time ago. This man hates everything.
Are you the fire guy?
The what now? I can't hear you.
He cups his ear. Did you recently tell 2 kids to put out their fire? 2 twins?
I may have. All sorts of little rats have come sniffing around, trying to give up the position.
Oh. Is this someone... So, love did him in, but communism killed him. The love is what put him in the room where he got killed. Love made him vulnerable. But communism killed him. Is this someone who thinks the war is still going? Between the communards and the coalition? Or, like, doesn't want to accept that the war has stopped? Whoops. Accidentally hit my microphone. And so he saw soldiers come to Martinez and he just shot them because they were soldiers.
Fire guy. Regressive bourgeoisie henchman. Can't even talk like a grown-up.
You've retained your eyesight.
My eyesight? Yes. Helps me see all the shit.
Did you close the blast door?
I did. And you opened it. How?
I fueled the generator. How did you know I was coming?
Reactionary rock and roll music. Playing on the water.
I mean, that's fair. I kind of did that knowing that they would probably hear us coming, but still.
Told you we shouldn't play sad FM.
But you didn't say that, Kim.
I did.
We have entered a world where he said you shouldn't. It is the only world.
Say nothing.
The fascists were right about rock and roll. It is degenerate. Hip gyrating, mental illness music.
Nice gun you got there.
It's not nice. It's a piece of shit. But it gets the job done.
Is that a Belle McGrave?
It's a 3-Angong 446.
A Samaran rifle. How did you get hold of one?
Oh, I just realized he's labeled as the deserter.
It was sent to us by our brothers in the Sinyao commune. Military aid.
He pats the rifle.
It has stayed true to him. He can still make it sing.
The Sinyao commune?
You heard me. It's good now. Like chalk wiped from the ball.
His gaze turns inwards. I don't think I want to say this. I don't want him to think I'm threatening him. And also, I have no bullets in this gun. I'm with the police. You can keep the gun, but keep it down. Not one move. I want to I have no doubt that this guy could kill us in an instant if he wanted to. I don't want to give him a reason to. But at the same time, I don't want him to become hostile yet. And something tells me if he puts the gun down, he's going to refuse anyway. So yeah. We'll do this. For now, at least. I'm with the police. You can keep the gun, but keep it down. Not one move.
No.
The lieutenant aims his pistol square at the man's head and says,
Put it down now, sir.
"Oh, okay."
Or you're gonna blow my brains out before you question me.
There is a moment's silence.
To hell with it. It's a walking stick anyway. It's out of bullets.
The old man lays the rifle down carelessly, then looks at it lying there. I'm gonna pick it up.
His gaze follows your motions. The rifle feels surprisingly light in your hand. Frame stocked and patched in places with tape and wire.
Inspect it closer.
The rifle's in a shabby state, like a crutch that's seen too much travel. Hieroglyphs are embossed into the forearm, made of walnut. On the butt, you see Vespertine writing, burnt into the wood. Triangon, 4.46mm, made in Sinyao.
It's as he said. It's a triangong, made in Sinyao.
No one said it has to be a Belmagrave. We were just guessing.
The lieutenant does not take his eyes off the old man.
From ballistics, it could easily have been a Triangon, too.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if it was made in Shanti Shanti. All it has to do is use jacketed ammunition. And it does.
This uses jacketed ammunition, 4.46.
The right type and the right calibre.
The lieutenant nods, glancing at the gun.
He's liking this.
Stow the gun.
The old man keeps following your motion with his gaze. His right arm twitches suddenly. Some kind of involuntary response? Something is slightly off with his motorics. This looked very much like the murder weapon. It could be used against him to get a confession. In time.
Who are you?
My name is Josef Lilianovich Dross. Political Commissar of the 114th Anti-Aircraft Division of the 4th Army of the Commune of Revachol.
He still uses his full title.
I am a deserter, a partisan, and a prisoner of war. This is my termless surrender.
His eyes turn to the reeds again, dead and dull.
There, behind them, across the delta, the Insacom building. Coalition government in Celindian mission control.
The commune of Revachol? Do you mean the ICM? You're a holdover from the...
He's like an old police officer himself. Kind of.
From the Insular Indian Citizens Militia, the army of the revolution. I was recruited in Jamrock in '07, trained in the École de Contrôle Orient, and consigned to emergency defense duties in '08.
Huh. This is really... This is fascinating. I'd love to know if there's more of a reason, like, beyond a like, they haven't said it yet, but I'm, like, 99% sure this is the guy we're looking for. This is the killer. And I would love to know if there's more of a reason beyond the fact that... It's definitely not a crime of passion, like I said before, but I think this is just someone who hasn't... Oh. So it's the parallels between him and Harry. This is someone who hasn't let the past go and who has let it take him down a road of darkness and hate. And so he might have just killed the guy because he was a soldier from another place.
I left my unit on the eve of the landing. When I returned here on May 14th, the commune had fallen. Still armed and ideologically trained, I wrote a criticism of myself and resumed partisan duties.
So he didn't fight for the communards. So what does he believe in, if not, because if he left, and if he uses ideologically trained, like sarcastically, I wonder if he's just fighting to give himself a purpose? I don't know.
51 minus 8 equals 43.
You've been on this island for 43 years?
No. I've been on other islands, too.
He looks into the fire. A wisp of smoke rises from somewhere between the charred logs.
I was in Resurrection until they turned it into a spa in 18. Then I was an E-48, a nameless sound, until the sea washed over it. Then I came back here. That was 22 years ago.
Huh. So, this is wrong, so I'm not going to say that. You said you're... You said you deserted your unit?
I was just 16 years old. 15 when I volunteered. I had a lapse of faith. And of courage, too.
Lapse of faith?
You could say I misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat and thought Mazovian socioeconomics were fallible. For a second, I doubted the irreducible laws of historic materialism. A second is all it took.
Misunderstood the historic role of the proletariat. So... he thought that... So, in communism, everything is shared, I believe. It's been a while since I've learned about different types of politics, but I believe in with communism, whatever you do, it is shared amongst the people. So the proletariat, everyone in it would be like equal, kind of. So I don't know. I'm not gonna get too much into it because I don't feel like I know enough to make a like educated guess of what his thoughts were. If someone with more knowledge of this would like to explain this in the comments, that I'd be really interested to hear what this is, like why he deserted his unit, or it might just explain it later. But yeah, I'm not gonna say much more because like I said, I don't know enough about the different types of politics and social classes when it comes to communism and stuff like that to be able to make a guess. For what?
For reaction to take hold.
As in reaction speed? What's reaction?
Petty bourgeois terror. It's in all men.
And when was this exactly?
May the 13th, 08, 44 years ago. The horizon was black with coalition airships. Their petroleum rose to the sky, and it looked like it formed the clouds. Storm clouds. When they started shelling, it was dark magic.
Dark magic?
The combined might of international capital. All at once, all the greed and terror in the world tore into Revachol. It lifted streets from the ground and turned houses into ghosts. We were in the flak tower,
He gestures toward it.
huddled on the floor. The artillery was 80 kilometers away in Ozon, but I knew the commune would fall. We would all be turned into ash. So I said I was going to the map room.
He looks east. What then?
I ran. I climbed the chain link across the water and hid inland, in the bunkers underground, like the weakest of the weak. A mouse, frightened of the ordnance all night, and the sound of the rotors in the morning, whirring.
He looks at the sky. What was that?
Airships. I climbed out into hell. The landing was complete. The chain was submerged. I had to swim back. The fortress was half submerged too, shattered. They'd all drowned in the lower levels, or got torn to shreds above. The anti-aircraft gun had malfunctioned. So had I. I left them without ideological direction. It was real. I'd seen it. I'd seen it in reality.
He opens his eyes and stares right through you. Seen what?
The mask of humanity fall from capital. It has to take it off to kill everyone, everything you love. All the hope and tenderness in the world. It has to take it off just for 1 second to do the deed.
So he saw, in his eyes, he saw what humanity really was. Like, as monsters.
And then you see it, as it strangles and beats your friends to death. The sweetest, most courageous people in the world. You see the fear and power in its eyes. Then you know
What?
that the bourgeois are not human.
So he doesn't like the rich. Or not like, I guess like the well-off? Say nothing, let him finish.
I had to. I had to fight it. I had to never stop.
The old man falls silent. His black eyes keep piercing your skin as he looks to some great distance behind you, shaking his head slowly, retreating from it. What is this place? This island?
It's not an island, Dwat. It's a defensive fortification of the commune of Revachol. And I am its last surviving defender.
What was it used for?
The congenitally deformed King Philip II built it to restrict access to the Bay of Revachol. We captured it in '02, retrofitted the fort with an AA gun to defend against an airborne landing. Against the whole world.
You mean the landing? Retaking of Revachol? I mean, he just said this.
Coalition military called it Operation Deathblow. I later found out on the radio they called it Deathblow. You're one of them. Tell me, who speaks like that? We had 50 million people on Caillou alone.
Tell me something else.
No. Iblis calls it that.
Iblis?
The black-eyed angel.
Huh. How have you survived all this time?
How does anyone survive? I steal.
He looks at his worn running shoes. What do you steal?
Supplies, vegetables. I collect rainwater. It's the life of a dog, not a human being.
He coughs once more, then puts his hands on his belly.
How is your health, Mr. Dross?
I've been throwing up blood since winter. Red, like beetroot. Been passing it in stool, too.
Is that, I'm trying to think of what disease that is. I don't know, but it's definitely not good.
He does seem frail. Gaunt for
Cancer,
his age.
maybe.
More like 75 than 65. Trouble putting on weight could mean cancer.
The RCM can provide medical services. You need to be looked over.
I need to die. You don't have medical facilities. You have guns. That's all they give you. Toy guns.
A droll smile stretches across his mouth. He won't accept Dramamine. How have you coped mentally?
I haven't. I have holes in my brain. Years missing. Others filled with pain only. A decade of...
His eyes roll into his skull and back.
I don't even know what. Inferno?
You notice the lieutenant is about to say something.
I would imagine it gets tremendously difficult, mentally, to live in isolation.
Traitors. It's better alone. I watch the people of this city turn the lights back on more and more each year. Ruins, glimmering in the dark, like a fucking merry-go-round.
He nods towards Martinez.
It's disgusting.
He looks down at his shoes, his face parched from the sun and the wind. There's a wince of pain in there somewhere.
Are they not heartbroken? How could they have moved on?
So yeah, it's someone who hasn't moved on. How have you concealed yourself all these years?
It was hard in the Thames. I didn't have partisan training. They were searching for stragglers, those bloodhounds. Floodlights on the water at night.
There were posters, campaigns.
We communards still hoped, and they needed to snuff that hope out. The East capitulated. Martinez and Cold City were turned to dust. But Jamrock, Forburg, even Coron, and Boogie Street, of course. Those fucking kips had Marsov coursing through their veins. And others too. Some cordons of Revachol was still fighting. There were cells. I tried to contact them. Soon they all went silent. The frequency's dead.
So the world moved on from communism and he never did. How did you get between here and the mainland?
At night, I used a dinghy. I only went after dark then. When I got to the city, I stayed underground. Patrols, you lot, the commons too. They'd started snitching.
He nods towards the deflated tire in the reeds.
In the city, you move underground?
From bunker to bunker. Not anymore. No one cares now. I don't even have to hide. They think I'm another antisocial vagrant. I could walk straight into that town if I wanted.
He falls silent, his gaze fixed on the shacks huddled together across the water. Why don't you just walk there?
I don't want to. They're all traitors. Pigs, rabbits, and dogs. Men without ideals are only animals.
He does not want to see life moving on. People forgetting, drinking, laughing.
The weapons cache under St. G's Lane 22B in the basement. Have you been there?
So you finally found it. There must have been a small squadron's worth of arms in there. Elmer Graves, right?
They were damaged beyond use.
I know.
So you've been there.
Sleeping. Some nights. Ammo scrounging on others. Those McGraves were shit, even before they corroded. Some had bullets in the chamber, however.
You feel the dots connecting. Little dots on the map he's walked across.
There's a small bunker under the Feld building. Have you stayed there?
The propaganda bunker. I used to, but not anymore.
Propaganda bunker?
They stored leaflets there. Broadcasting equipment, too. Made broadcasts, I think. Propaganda officers. I buried them with their leaflets. They killed themselves. 2 young boys.
Killed themselves.
A lot of our boys did. I spent some winters there. Never liked it. Kept thinking of them. No need to go underground anymore. It's better in the ruins, on the ground.
One more question. Do you smoke Tio Mutiri cigarettes?
I do.
Ever smoke them on the mainland? Point to Land's End.
They're good. Plenty of tar. I like that boy on the pack, too. Reminds me of the last century.
Tell me another thing.
The old man looks across the water, at the city, the ruins, the motorways rising above it.
I'm wondering which one is going to, make the story go forward. Neither of them say proceed. So, I mean, I'm just gonna go with this one. You said this is your termless surrender.
You're with the RCM, the coalition-appointed mob that enforces bourgeois morals in Revachol.
Let's see. We're not coalition appointed. We're just trying to help people. That's right. We're the good guys. We enforce the law. We keep these animals from killing each other. I know what it looks like, but I have secret plans to turn the RCM into a Mazovian revolutionary unit. We're with the RCM. Let's leave it at that. I'm going to keep it boring.
Let's. You represent the Moralist International, the enemies of humanity who took this city. I represent their adversary, le Parti Communiste dans ce monde.
He looks you in the eye.
Take me to them as a prisoner of war. I have relinquished my weapon. I can no longer serve. No superiors can relieve me of my duty. You bulldoze them all to a mass grave for trying to free humanity.
His hand shakes and he breaks into a coughing fit.
A spray of blood from his mouth on the black charcoal in the fire pit. Rene, the royalist on the coast, said,
The communards signed the Revacholian Instrument of Surrender.
Liberal reactionaries signed that instrument. Traitors who should have been burned alive. I answer to the Communist Party.
Is that part of why you've been here all this time? Because the party didn't surrender?
he just wipes the blood from his chin.
Understood.
I don't think you did. You live in a delusion. Radio shows, speed racing, and sporting goods. It's not real.
The really scary thing is that, like, this, if you wanted to go to, like, the most basic elements and, like, at surface level, very basic, this is like an old man yelling at the clouds. He is mad at the world for changing. And not changing in a way that he is used to or that he wants. But and like it can be very scary when people like this have this extreme point of view, because it's very easy to like write them off like as insane. Like there's no way people would think that like he believes so much in his views that he killed someone like 50 plus years after the war had ended, or almost 50 years after the war had ended. But it's scary because I feel like he's not insane. He is completely sane and he completely believes in what he says. And I think that's scarier than if he was actually insane. So yeah, this is... Huh. So you're a communist soldier from the communist army?
No, I am not a soldier. I am an ideological officer. I belong to the party, not the army.
But you said you were trained and assigned to the Defense Corps.
Trained in historical materialism, then assigned as a political commissar by the party. These things used to mean something.
Wait, what does a political commissar do?
The old man does not answer. He tilts his silver head and looks at the reeds. You see a small tremor pass through his legs.
His job was to assure the army answers to civilian control and follows the ideology of the commune.
The lieutenant says softly.
Scientific communism. A commissaire politique is a knight philosopher of the revolution, a future human.
The tracksuit-clad old man is suddenly reanimated.
Awakened from shutdown by the promise of ideology.
That means you're a trained communist, right?
He nods slowly. Then another tremor.
Say nothing. Oh, I guess I have to say this now. Again, you've been hiding here for 43 years?
43 years and 10 months.
That's steadfast. I don't want to admire. Well, I don't want to admire him. I mean, it is... Something can be impressive, but also not good. Here, I'll just say I don't even know what that is.
It's inhuman. It's sick. It's not how a human being should live, but I had to. I couldn't just forget. I couldn't just forget what I saw.
He grimaces, clearly in pain.
What have you been doing during all this time?
Hiding, fishing, waiting.
He looks across the water.
2 police officers step out of the Whirling in Rags cafeteria. Satellite officer Jean-Vic Mayer inspects giant letters across the plaza mosaic in dark red government-marked heavy fuel oil. Patrol officer Judith Minot points west. The fishing village. She glances at her watch. We meet in 15 minutes. It's a 10-minute walk. The officers go, leaving behind the writing, still smelling of petroleum. One day, it says, I will return to your side.
Always waiting.
The old man turns his eyes from the shore and back to you. For what?
For her to return.
Communism?
Her who?
Girl child. Revolution.
Hmm. Women will always betray you. I don't think he means an actual woman. Um, the rich are very well organized. I've been there. The city's a tinderbox. It may still happen. Let's just go with this one. I come from there. I can assure you that is not what the people are planning.
I am not a fool. I know. The material base for an uprising has eroded. The working class has betrayed mankind. The historic opportunity for a revolution has passed. It will not come back anymore, however hard I try, whatever I do.
So he's just gonna try to destroy it, probably.
What has he done? Perhaps a confession will lighten the load.
What have you done then?
Yes, what? To get things going again? Fan the flame?
The lieutenant steps closer.
There is no flame to fan. There is nothing left of the world, of our dreams.
He stares right through at him, blinking his dark eyes. I have another serious question for you.
There's nothing serious in this world. It's a farce.
What have you been using this gun for?
I've used it for killing people.
Killing people?
It's a gun. That's what they're for. You want a moralist euphemism? Defending your family and your property. I haven't done that. I've used it to kill people.
Interesting. During or after the war?
There is no after the war. Class war is never over.
He shakes his head and smiles, his teeth rotten black.
So he's continued killing after hostilities ended. Okay. This is it. You can feel it, like battery acid on the tip of your tongue. Something you haven't felt in a while.
But what?
This is what you live for. This is the shit. The great serotonin jackpot. The solution. Go in straight. No euphemisms. He doesn't like those. No. Be careful now. Slow and steady does it. Make him repeat it first. Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Get personal.
Wait, so which one do I say then?
Nothing comes to you. Silence. His black eyes look at you.
Don't mess this up. Remember, he wants to tell you. Go in straight, no euphemisms. He doesn't like those. Make him repeat it first. I'll go with this one. I know you want to tell me. Have you killed anyone with that gun in the last week or two?
I don't want to tell you anything, you grotesque murderer.
And why did you think that was a good idea? Don't listen to me. I'm wrong all the time.
Did you use... Wow. Did you use that gun to shoot and kill a colonel of the security contractor Cronell?
The who now?
He leans in and cups his ears.
He heard you. He just wants to hear you say it again. This is dramatic flair on his part. Right choice. We're in. Do it, sire.
This one. I think he'll respond best to this one. because he doesn't know the. I don't know if he knows the corpse was hanged. He's not going to care what the guy's name was. He's definitely not going to. The beautiful strong man, the fascist death squad who took a bullet in the mouth on the night of March 4th.
Oh, yes. That one.
He looks up at the sky and clacks his tongue.
Ugly piece of work, that boy.
Did you kill him?
The lieutenant takes a sudden step forward.
I am a son of a welder and an officer of the commune of Revachol. I do not collaborate with murderers and pederasts of the liberal regime.
A drop of blood in the saliva. Exhaust him with proof. Pile it all on him. Get a confession. The gun. The murder weapon is the perfect opener.
Mm-hmm.
The scent of blood in the air. But what else? There was something you can't remember.
What?
Something about the tracks. Suddenly, all those tracks are so confusing. Go with something else first.
Hang on. Okay, let's back off for a moment because I want to do the composure check first.
You're lost, Dwat. You're lost.
That's it for now, old man. Stay put.
I ain't going anywhere.
Let me extract a confession from the deserter. You need at least 3 examples of proof to show that you have him anyway. There is little point in his resistance. Okay. Let me really quick see what I have in terms of composure. Alright.
Hear that? Magnesium. That's what you're lacking. The lack of magnesium has you slouched.
There's a lack of magnesium in me?
Yes, and it's critical. Look at yourself. You're practically devolving into a fish due to the lack of magnesium in your bloodstream.
So I need to mag it side. I don't know what I need to mag it sideways.
Mag it sideways? What are you talking about? You need to mag it up. You've probably had 2 heart attacks and a minor stroke already. And the only prescription is insane amounts of magnesium.
Probably not.
1 stroke? Don't be so modest. He's having one right now.
I need to stop thinking about this. This is not a thought I want to go down.
Minions of capital. What do you want?
Okay. Disturbed motorics 42%.
What strikes you
wow.
about this gaunt man is not the stomach pain, or the cough, or the malnutrition. For a man who's spent 44 years hidden in the urban wild.
He is surprisingly okay.
Indeed, he speaks fluidly. His movements are rapid, if erratic. His voice, despite the cough, is there. It is capable of expressing complicated ideas. Above all, he seems animated.
Animated? By what?
It's a mystery. This animation comes at a cost too. Erratic hand gestures, thought processes cut off like threads as he just stares at the logs or the reeds. He also suffers mood swings, bubbling to the surface, unconstrained by his nervous system.
Dementia?
You've seen demented people before. This feels similar, yet different. When his thoughts move, they are lucid, keen even, not senile.
Mr. Duros, are you okay? How is your memory?
No, I'm not okay. I shit blood, and I'm surrounded by insane people.
He waves his hand, chasing something that's not there.
There it is again. Erratic hand motions, bouts of rage, and the stomach thing too, of course.
Alright. One more time, Mr. Jost, the Colonel. We need to talk about you killing him.
Petty bourgeois law. This is all you care about, right? The only thing in the world for you types.
A drop of blood in the saliva. That's right. Pile it all on him now. 3 should do it. Maybe 4.
Come on, what am I forgetting?
Wait, here it comes. The goddamn Maybells. The dried Maybells on Clausia's roof.
I slapped... and I love that I actually slapped myself. Oh, yes.
There were Maybells in the grass when you got here. They're revolutionary symbols from the war.
Yep.
Nowhere else, nowhere in all of Martinez have you seen them this spring. Wait, don't forget the footprints. The diagonal prints in the dust in the secret space behind Clausia's bedroom. Now, they're gonna come up.
Of course. Thank you, Head. Thank you.
You got it. Remember, the boot prints were like no modern soul. Maybe don't beat yourself anymore, though. You're not immortal.
Alright, so I have it. So I'm gonna do the perfect opener. Which is the gun. I don't need your cooperation. I've got... Do I want to do that? Yes, I do. I don't need your cooperation. I've got this. Show him the Triangong 446.
Not a lot of guns around that use military-grade ammunition, are there?
It's a real gun, not like your little musketeer pistols. I've seen you prance around with those, jumping hoops for the liberals. You look like imbeciles. Why don't you ask them to give you real weapons? Going against automatic rifles with these toy guns. Of course you got those boys killed.
So he's talking about the tribunal.
Damn, he saw you. He's watched it happen. He would have a good view of the tribunal from here. It's not just empty boasting. So he saw you. Okay. So what? Don't let it divert you.
Stop changing the subject. We have the murder weapon.
You know what? You're right. I'm convinced this made the shot. Should we call it?
The lieutenant looks at the weapon demonstratively. I'm calling it. We have the murder weapon.
Good.
The lieutenant takes out his notebook and draws a single line. Is it done now? It is done now. And I have a new point. Let's go ahead and put it in... not suggestion, I guess, because they're wrong all the time. Visual calculus, for the heck of it. Or actually... Yeah, visual calculus.
This feels good, doesn't it? Tearing things up like this. When you have the murder weapon, you have the killer.
Murder.
The old man does not say more. He just glances into the reeds and then twitches once more.
This pushed him, but not enough. Just a little more.
There were Maybells behind the victim's window. Show him the dried flower.
Damn Maybells. The whole island is turning white with them.
He seems tender suddenly, nostalgic even. A strange mood swing.
So many this year, too. The spring is coming. No, it's already here. Wash the filth away.
I haven't seen these flowers anywhere else on Martinez. Only here.
They blossom on the islets before we fertilize them with our blood. Resurrection was snow white in May before they ruined it.
He looks to the water.
The coast, too, before they piled their containers on top of it, filled with broken, useless trash for fat-fingered bourgeois children to play with.
You must get around a lot to stay undetected all these years. Do you know any secret paths? Pinball workshops?
I may.
A curious tremor passes his face. A young woman called Classier. Ring any bells? These dried flowers were behind her window.
Classier.
He knows her, but hadn't heard the name.
You know her, right? She had intimate relations with the victim, the mercenary.
With the victim.
He turns his sight from the whitening field of flowers and falls silent. Then the muscles in his jaw twitch, a spasm.
There is a small tremble. Looks like a smile. A crooked smile. Yet isn't quite voluntary. He's about to burst. Almost. But you need one more. Just one. Or maybe two.
We'll do this one. We've done the ballistics. Point to the tower. The shot came from this island.
I saw you poking around there, looking for evidence. You're damn diligent when it comes to dead fascies. Did you like the view?
A jitter passes him.
You had direct visibility. There are embrasures in the concrete, specifically meant for a top follower to use. And you had a long-range rifle in your possession.
The lieutenant softens his voice.
You've been here a long time, Mr. Dross. Too long. You clearly need medical aid.
I'm ready to die. I've done my part.
The man interrupts him, then coughs. I wonder if he's going to try to attack Kim in order to make Kim kill him.
He's practically admitting to it. Dead fascists for fascists. Done his part. Just one thing remains unclear. The rifle does not seem to have a scope.
It's the best interrupted line of sight into that window in all of Martinez.
Because it's a sniper's nest, you stupid fuck. Radio Gosh is right. You have worms in your brain.
Another sudden twitch, then one more one in his right eye.
Leave no stone unturned. Get him on what matters most.
I wonder what brand of boots you're wearing.
Everything is brands with you individualists. Who cares what brand my shoes are? Sansa,
He looks at his running shoes,
some shit.
covered in mud.
Show me the soles, please, Mr. Dross.
Fucking imbecile.
The old man stretches out his leg. A black and white spiral pattern covers the soles of his worn-out, old running shoes on his feet.
The maker is called Sansarique, and the size is 42 to 44.
Is that the same?
These are not the unusual horizontal patterned soles you saw in the dust on the floor of the hidden room. They do, however, seem to be about the same size.
The size fits, but not the sole.
The lieutenant comes to the same conclusions. Drama? Wait, maybe it's simpler than that?
Sire, he doesn't have to be wearing them right now.
People change shoes. It doesn't mean you weren't there, near the room the victim died in, sneaking around.
Racking those brains, are you? Desperate to report something back to your masters? They must have really loved that dead fuck.
He squints at you, black pearls gleaming with hatred.
The lieutenant gives you a quick sideways glance and nods to acknowledge. The prints were his. You can see it in those eyes. He can't keep them from flickering, looking for something. The old man stares at his own prints in the ash around the fire. Silent suddenly, some strange process within him. A gush of wind. Seagulls in the distance.
I'm very nervous about what's about to happen.
You know who he was. A coalition-trained murderer. Armored and armed. He wasn't human. The blunt end of a hammer. Dripping with blood.
He was a killer, but he was still under the protection of the law.
Beating us to the ground. Moaning with joy. You hounds get so thorough when a company-trained killer dies. I haven't seen you on this coast for 40 years. You know, maybe I should have killed one sooner.
That's a confession.
Got your attention. Now you stop beating druggies and prostitutes in your basement. Now you come to investigate. Not when they die by the hundreds.
He breathes through flared nostrils.
This is it. Shot him. Shot him. Say shot him, not killed him.
So you shot him?
Oh, the inhumanity. One paramilitary less in Revachol.
You can almost see him squeeze a tear out of his eye. His fists begin to tremble from the anger.
The lieutenant raises his right arm to hush you. Hush. He does not need to be pushed anymore. The ball is rolling.
Yep.
While the lieutenant listens, holding his breath.
Hold your breath.
I had them in my sights. Both of them. Him and the whore. I was breathing with them, in phase, and I pulled the trigger and flew on the air until I landed in his mouth.
He begins to smile.
I didn't think I had a shot like that in me anymore. I did. I saw him kneel there with his mouth full of death, and that stupid look on his face. And his dick still in her.
Then what?
Nothing. I went to sleep. Next morning there were Maybells everywhere. The world was white, or what's left of it anyway. My last spring here. I knew the fascists would come to avenge their own. And so they did.
Mr. Dross, are you aware you're confessing to murder?
The lieutenant asks after a second of silence.
Yes.
A single word is all he gives. Extract a confession from the deserter.
And you were looking at them, the victim and a young woman, having sex, through the scope of your rifle that night, before you shot him?
The lieutenant takes out his notebook slowly, very slowly. It's done.
The old man nods.
Why?
Because that's what they were doing.
He shrugs, then smacks his lips.
The motive. This is where the motive is going to come from. You can coax it out of him. The lieutenant's preparing the ground.
I don't understand. Do you, detective? I don't understand this part.
He turns to you. New task, extract a motive. Why did he do this thing? Why? I don't know, I haven't found all the armor pieces. Oh well, that's not important right now. Why were you looking at them that night?
I'm always looking.
He cocks his head to the side, then turns his eyes to the city. Another tremor passes his right side, lower in intensity.
Are you always looking through the scope of a rifle? I'm just trying to understand.
A rifle scope has the best magnification.
And if you don't like it?
Click.
You pull the trigger?
Yes. Think of it as a form of critique.
You got him going. Connect every little piece now. Wrap this up like a gift.
Okay.
Start with when he first saw him. It will give him a chance to ramble.
When did you first see the deceased?
3 weeks ago, when the rich hag came in on her galley. Her honor guard came in tow.
Joyce. He means Joyce.
By that you mean Joyce Messier, the Wild Pines rep?
Wrinkled up whore.
Moving on. The victim arrives sometime after her.
They moved into a deserted apartment above the roundabout. Radio equipment out for all to see. Reactionary radio playing, sloppy and drunk. I've seen their kind during the landing. Those Occidental and masked phalanx weren't conscripts. Boys like us. They were whites. All they know is to destroy and hurt.
Whites?
Barely alive. They like to kill while they're on their drugs. After the landing, in the burning years, I would take shots at them. End them. The worst ones, if I had a bullet to spare. I could see they've returned now, to show their real face. The face they don't dare show their bourgeois voters back on Mundi with their families and polyester clothes.
What specifically did you not like about what you saw the night of the murder?
Them. Fucking. I didn't like that.
So you were... I don't think he was jealous. I think he was angry that they were happy. Okay then.
Splat. A bloody spitball lands on the firewood.
Been looking at anything else you haven't liked?
A tragic comedy. Druggies, prostitutes, and rentiers.
A strange little engine seems to fire up in him again. It straightens his back.
More specifically?
Specifically, the whole city is a charnel house. Stripped clean and draped in neon. But Martinez...
He shakes his head in great
Martinez
disgust.
is the worst.
How come?
Because of the racists. Everyone is a racist in Martinez. It's their favorite thing to do in the whole world. Listening to race-themed radio shows. In the ruins. In their lorries.
He points inland.
Pumped full of steroids and radio Revachol 92. Race this, race that. It's all sanctioned by that Social Democratic Union and the farce of a Social Democrat who runs it.
Mr. Clare?
Yes, the fly larva in his container. He let some nihilistic advertising yuppies erect a statue of Philippe III, a syphilitic murderer, on the town square, to spit on the working class.
Let him finish. Do not interrupt.
Not since the serfs of ancient Pericarnassus has history produced a more inert social class than the Martinez proletariat. The rest of Revachol at least pretends to rebuild. These people still live in ruins. Intense, like animals, like those boom-boom morons on the ice. A pity they didn't drown in that tent of theirs.
He keeps shaking his head with sorrow for the sight he missed. That's all?
The worst of them is the blood-drenched Sucrion on her yacht, licking her lips. The old whore's gone now. Her gun-toting porcelain men are dead. So, actually, no. The worst is that old cock parading around in his uniform, throwing balls all day.
Oh.
It's not enough that the racists and liberals are dancing on our graves. The old loyalist ghouls still parade the ruins too. Every morning he's there, while the parasites he fought to protect are off in Ozon, or Koyamorang, or some other island they built their palaces on, feeding on drugs and having sex with their own children.
Say nothing.
That's all the rich really want. Sex with their own children. Throughout history, even the royal bloodline of the suzerain, it's all just an excuse for them to have sordid sex. At least that old cunt, Frisell, is now dead.
Now I have some questions about this.
We did good when we pushed him under the horse car. Until, in the 30s, those disco whores.
He breathes in, his breath heavy with hatred. You cannot make out a single word.
The disco whores are too much. Hatred shuts down his brain's language center, leaving only a nonsensical sputter.
You mentioned the Union is social democratic, and Mr. Clare a farce of a social democrat.
Another hideous disappointment. Unions are the real enemy. The true enemy of the proletariat. Placating the masses.
Disappointment
Oh, jeez.
so personal. He displays a familiarity with the Union's top brass.
I can't tell if that's a problem with the... I've had issues with the game skipping audio before, like, but only like a few times, not as often as this. I hope it's not too bad for you guys. Who's a disappointment? Everett Clare?
That deformed toad? I wouldn't expect him to wipe his own ass. I mean, the brains of the operation. The smart one.
Edgar.
You mean Edgar, Everett's brother?
He talks a big game about uprising and social base. They must have sent the smart one to some university in Le Jardin, where it's alienation this and hegemony that.
He's been sweet-talked by this Edgar. They must have met in person for such animosity to have developed.
We're not the first people you've met from the city, are we?
You can't live alone.
He stopped poking at the ash now, just shaking his head.
The Clares wouldn't miss a man hidden in their own backyard. Not all this time. Nothing happens in Martinez without them knowing.
Of course, maybe the Clears asked him to.
I don't think so.
Don't go straight for the kill. Exhaust everything else first. Soften him up.
Have you approached them?
I haven't approached anyone. I've hid. It was Edgar who came to me.
How did he know you were here?
He didn't just stumble in like an oaf. He figured it out. Some kids told him about a monster on the island. I told you, he has brains.
He points to the path leading up to the tower.
Stepped right off the boat and walked down where you came. I even kept the door open for him. Thought he was a man of the left, wouldn't rat me out. I was right about one of those things.
When was this?
20 years ago. Neither of them could walk now, could they? They were less fat then.
That's around the time the Clears came to power.
What did you talk about?
Edgar did the talking. paid his respects like I were a fossil in a uniform, offered platitudes about the struggle, flaunted his pink degree, even quoted Marzoff.
So they were, yeah, sympathetic.
Never trust a social democrat who quotes Marzoff. Oh, and charity, too. They love their charity. Offered me blankets and social housing. I still have the gas cooker he brought.
And he let you be here?
Let me be here? The ZOC is an unlawful successor of the Commune of Revachol. We took this fortification from the Loyalists. Even the Clares understand this.
They let him be here. Understanding was a courtesy. But why such a courtesy?
Mr. Dros, did you kill the Cornell mercenary for the Clares? To incite a riot?
I'm not doing anything for that swine again.
He shakes his head.
Again? What have you done for Edgar before?
Probably got rid of that other candidate that they talked about.
Tried teaching him some Marzovian socioeconomics.
Oh.
They didn't stick. We parted ways.
Okay, he didn't do the hanged man for them, but he's insinuating something. There is more here. You can feel it. He was not outright lying, but almost.
Yep. What was the deal between him and Edgar? Talk to Everard about previous forewoman.
The connection comes to you like a splash of cold water. Dark, cold water.
20 years ago, when you met Edgar, the Clares didn't run the Union yet, did they?
Hey.
A sputter from the old man.
He acknowledges it. Here we go. A twist behind the dark bend.
Who did?
That bourgeois cow. Tiffin Holly was her name. Licked the rich man's hand every time he came to town. Never seen a labor leader so hot on mutual cooperation. And money. She liked that too. That Holly was a real bridge builder and a deal maker.
His eyes glistened suddenly, with hatred. And then she just disappeared?
Called in, they say. On the eve of battle. Ran away. Vanished like a piss stain.
He squints and smiles at the black logs.
No, that's not quite it, is it?
Did she? They say her daughter called in, not her personally. But that wasn't really her daughter, was it?
No, I guess it was not.
You could swear you see the embers glow again under his eyes in the dust. Edgar had someone make the call. Why is that, Mr. Dros?
She couldn't make the call herself.
Here it is. The bend in the river.
Why?
Because she was dead.
Just say nothing.
Say nothing.
The cow caught a bullet in her right lung. Fell into the canal grasping her tit and drowned. Or bled? Hard to say. It was a sloppy job. And a moving target. She was going home, waddling, dressed in yellow, drunk like she often was. The ruins are black around her, and she had a yellow leather bag under her arm. She tried to cross the canal. Heading home to Grand Couronne or Betancourt, someplace like that, where they build those new bâtiments for the people who flourish in the hell around her. And the ruins.
You shot her.
Someone shot her. Or maybe the cow just fell. My memory is full of holes. All I know is... nothing changed. Not in the material base. Not in the hegemony. There was no uprising. Just words. The Union fizzled. Sogged. Nothing came of it. Nothing.
Edgar didn't keep his part of the deal.
Yeah. A sputter again. Nothing more.
If you were to testify to this, give the RCM something on Edgar, You could walk.
The lieutenant says in a voice even calmer, as if it were nothing at all.
We would strike everything you've done and process you as a POW. You were in a war. You were on assignment. We could even extradite you to the Samaran People's Republic.
A degenerate worker state. Goat shit. No, thank you. I'm Revacholian. My days are short. I will rot away here, in a moral intern cell. I will not testify to anything.
But you did do it.
I saw it happen, and I liked it. That's all I have to say. I didn't live and fight for 40 years to end up as a collaborationist. I've heard it on Channel 8, 40 AM, Radio Revachol, late night. Everyone is a blobber
Secret
in
test
this
complete.
world.
What happened to the previous
Everyone
forewoman?
betrays everyone. They're all already locked up for betrayal. The best ones, the ones with heart, were slaughtered, trampled.
He looks to the city.
The same old freezing hatred. There is plenty here to work with once he's in custody, and the lieutenant knows it. He gives you a little nod to proceed.
I'm glad we talked about this. Now,
Glad? It's all gone.
here, I'm gonna try to.
Them fucking.
So you were jealous.
Jealousy is a reactionary concept. I didn't like the Reaver enjoying himself.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Drugged out, soothed in the arms of a young woman. I wanted him to die so he could not enjoy life anymore. And I wanted to see his head explode. That too. She should know better than to hold a child murderer between her thighs. I knew he'd be there for one more second, writhing. That's all it takes for the bullet to reach his head. Now that I think of it, I wasn't aiming for his mouth. I wanted his brains to spill out on her. But you can't have everything.
He wants to see her covered in blood. To punish her.
You wanted to punish her, so you killed him.
She practically breastfed that man. You wouldn't believe the things she let him do to her.
He shakes his head and stares at the ashes.
You stare at them too. In your mind, her innocence day still turns to leaf. Airport bag in hand. Silks flowing in her wake.
We're gonna try to move on, I think, from that. This has nothing to do with that. Try to forget it.
It's no good, Harry. Her voice rings in the evening air. It smells of burning buildings.
I'm just gonna. I'm trying to decide if I want to say I'm not like that, I don't think like that, or just say nothing. Because, like, he's not gonna care that I don't think like that. You know what? Let's just say it. I'm not like that. I don't think like that.
No one gives a shit what you think.
Exactly.
You and your cronies kill 10 working-class men a day. I've heard the statistics on Channel 8.
How long had you been watching her?
Since she came to Martinez. I saw her sneaking in the reeds early in the morning, behind the Fell building. It was dark, still winter. She didn't have her skimpy outfit on then, just a spot in the night, moving.
Past the Fell building on the coast? What was she doing there?
Hiding something in the water. She had a fag after she'd done it. I was up in the ruins there. She couldn't see me, but I could see her, smoking. She was nervous, but not scared.
What do you think she hid there?
Her passport and tickets to Villiers. And from there to Cachet Brut.
I did say this seems like a good spot to hide something. When I first visited there.
In the free state of Seminine, hidden away at the edge of the earth, near the Pale.
Some kind of hidden container on the coast. You looked into it?
Yes, after she'd gone. It was a submersible. Well made, actually.
Sloppy, we should have gotten her to tell us about this. Did you take the documents?
The lieutenant mutters to himself.
No, I put them back. Why would I take them? I'm not going to film. Oh, I mean...
Moving on. Did you continue watching her after this?
I did. She had a face like an archipelago, with those birthmarks, and a body hard and lean and bruised all over, black and yellow. I could see she's taken a beating. I could see who she was, too. A spook, on the run. Revachol's the cloaca of capital now. All the bagmen and arms dealers end up here to do drugs and have sex like animals.
You could tell she was a spook from the documents?
No, probably from the way she acted. This is a little weird. Like well, not just a little weird, but yeah, I wonder if he became obsessed with her because he almost maybe he saw elements in her that he liked, and he hadn't seen something he had liked in a long time.
She had different color hair on the photo, and glasses. Forged. Some sordid bourgeois affair. I've heard about this kind of thing on the radio.
He's setting it up for you. The bruises, you can't make that out in a scope.
And you could see her bruises through the scope of her rifle?
You can't see bruises through a scope. It's just a blur.
Oh, yeah. How does he know those minute details about her body? Footprints in the dust, could have changed shoes, found the people.
It quickly comes to you.
The bruises on her body. Any chance you've seen them through a hole in the wall?
Oh, yes. Cutting those drugs of hers into little lines with a knife. Masturbating.
That is very creepy.
Did you make that hole?
With a clip point knife.
Good for listening in, too. For hearing the moaning and the snorts.
Ever see her through a window on a roof?
Like that, too. Yes. Bending like a bow against the glass.
You've been through the secret route behind the whirling in rags. Those were your footprints there. You just changed your shoes.
I've been through all of Martinez. Every nook and cranny.
And that too.
Yes, that too. The things they did in that little room. What she'd do to feel good. Funny the way light works. You turn it on inside, and it gets so dark out, you can't see a man looking in. I learned that in the 20s, when they were still hunting me. I've seen people do some shit, but...
He keeps shaking his head.
Those two took the cake. You hear the familiar scribble of the lieutenant's pen. A quick glance at you. One more loose end down. We're doing this, detective.
Yeah. I'm
How did
still
you
so
get in
nervous.
there? The hidden pinball workshop.
I can just walk in there now after a good wash. I told you, they think I'm an antisocial. Closing hour is a good time. The kitchen's empty.
He's the one who probably hid the key in the bush.
You had to open the steel door in the kitchen? How?
I got that open a long time ago. Some bourgeois game merchant lived there. I don't know, 15 years ago. He left spare keys all over, and I took one. Then I saw her turn the light on one night in my scope.
He points toward the whirling in rags.
Andy found use for it. A spare key, like the one hanging behind the Union Box window.
You had feelings for that woman.
There's nothing to hold on to. Only this. It's not enough.
The coals of his eyes glisten suddenly, like stones dripping with water. Is he crying?
Man needs to feel something else. In this fight, it helps if you have your eye on something there. It's weakness, I know.
Was that why you left the dried flowers behind her window?
No.
He starts to shake his head again, a sunflower on a withered stalk. Why then?
I don't really know. I was there one night and she was crying, like a child, in the corner of our room on the floor, like she does sometimes.
When was this?
The day after I killed him.
And you brought her Maybells?
Yes. I don't know why I do the things I do anymore.
Say nothing.
Neither does he. He lowers his head, like a sunflower on a withered stalk. In the silence, the lieutenant draws a line in his notes, then nods at you once more. One more down.
So in conclusion, it wasn't about him. It was about her.
Her.
He repeats, staring at the ashes, then the reeds. There's a twitch in the corner of his eye.
The lieutenant
Oh, God.
at you in acknowledgement.
Sorry about that. Like I said, I hope it's not too disruptive. There's not a whole lot I can do to fix it during editing, so I'm going to have to leave it as is, but... yeah, hopefully it's not too distracting.
That's it. Motive. We have it.
You know what? I'm going to assign this point that I have, just in case. I don't know what's going to happen after I arrest him. Actually, I'm going to wait. Yeah, I'm going to wait until I see what happens next.
Where is she, that Clasier? I haven't seen her there for days.
I'm not at liberty to say.
I know she's gone. Locked up, or on the run. She kept staring into the scope, you know. In the end, this last week, at the fort, like she knew. Like she knew I was here. It doesn't matter.
Across the water, on a dilapidated jetty in a nameless village, made of grey cinder block houses with Eternite roofs, 2 police officers and 1 special consultant look across a narrow strip of sea.
What is this going to be?
He's there, doing what exactly, I don't know. Satellite Officer Vic Mayer points at the ruins. Behind that anti-aircraft something. That's why we can't see him.
So they know that there's someone here?
Special Consultant Heidelstein is optimistic. We'll see the boat when he comes. Let's go get a coffee until then. I know this interesting little place. Where?
His
His
voice.
voice trails off as the three walk down the jetty.
Are they talking? Oh, they must be talking about me.
As the men go, Patrol Officer Minnow looks back over her shoulder at the crumbling fortification like a rotten tooth rising out of the water. Good luck, Harry, she thinks. You need something good for this. The old man has fallen silent, staring at your feet. The burnt logs in the fire are moist from the sea air.
Do I want to ask him about Renee or no? No, I don't really think there's much point. Because he's just gonna say that, like, he doesn't like the loyalists, or like it. You know what? Let's.
His lip curls into a sneer at the memory.
By the cock parading in his colorful uniform, you mean Renee?
Every fucking morning for 34 years. Throwing that ball. One ball against the other. I've always loathed that game. That is not a working class game. I don't care what they say on Radio June.
Well, who are you to say about what's a working class game and what's not?
Royalist ghouls played like it was life itself. Click, clack across the water each day. And that uniform, like a parrot plumage. I won't even mention that he's a traitor to his race. A Patank maniac race traitor.
No, I don't know about...
I remember him. I remember him from Lanos. Not him, personally. His make and model. There were tens of thousands of them. I thought we took them all out before the Liberals came to their rescue. We missed one. That one.
With his shaky finger, he points to the city, toward the crater near the plaza where a lonely pine tree stands.
There doesn't seem to be a single person under the pine today. Not even Gaston. Alone.
There's no one there.
Fat and plump. Like a pheasant. Just begging to be popped off. Please, Mr. Dross. Shoot me.
Let's definitely back off now. Calm down. Yeah.
Calm down. I'm not angry. I adore him. He reminds me of everything we fought for. At least we killed Revachol and his kingsman.
He's overtaken by a coughing fit. Alright.
Glad. It's all gone.
Alright, I think it's time. Yosef Lilianovich Dross, you're under arrest for the murder of Ellis Cortanar.
What? But you said I would be taken to the...
The old man's eyes fill with sudden, unexpected terror at the words. Oh, now he's rocking back and forth.
This terror is the sum of all the uncontrollable movements and mood swings he's been exhibiting.
Your Wayfarer rights have been suspended. Information provided to the officers on the scene will be used against you by the prosecution. You will be given legal counsel within 1 week and must face court in 44 days. Do you understand?
Continue. Oh boy.
Do you understand?
But...
Kim, he's afraid.
No, I don't want to. I have to stay here.
He looks at the reeds, eyes submerged in growing terror.
He's sweating. Beads are forming on his forehead.
Your confirmation is not required, sir. Now on to the boat.
Oh boy. You know what? Wait.
There it is again, to your north, as it has been since you came to the coast. The reeds whisper, stalks rubbing against each other, but then, in the middle of it,
What?
something completely different. It sounds like a bow, very slowly being drawn against the strings of a violin. A very small violin, made of reeds and rushes.
Maybe there is room for 3 on the boat.
And then it's gone, drowned out by the lieutenant's voice. Shush, Kim, do you hear that?
What?
What are you talking about? Is this really us?
The old man's voice drowns in a sudden gust of wind.
A delicate tangle of arms and legs unfolds from the reeds, limb by limb,
Oh.
to then just stand there, moving its scythe-like arms in ghostly silence.
Oh. Oh my goodness. Oh my god. The Insulindian Phasmid. Blink.
It's still there, an unfolding mechanism of reed-like chitin, hovering in place.
What is that? I know what it is.
What are you talking about?
It's moving. The old man looks at the reeds, then at you. The giant stick insect.
There's nothing there.
He looks confused.
The stick insect is over 3 meters tall. It looks straight at you with its tiny pinprick eyes and its grotesquely small head.
Can Kim see it?
You feel your legs shaking under you and your gun hand move to your holster to grab the gun.
I don't have any bullets in the gun. Do I? The thing is, do I trust this? There is. I see it.
Tell me what you see, damn it. I can't make out one small thing in the reeds.
Kim, can you see it?
I can see it.
Okay, cool.
4 simple words, thank God. If you can see, then you're not insane. But that means
That it's real.
it's really there, spinning slowly, in absolute silence, its limbs long and slender.
We still gotta arrest this dude.
Be very, very careful.
The lieutenant whispers, then takes a step toward the giant anthropod. Go to it carefully. It may be dangerous. You know what? I think that's where we're going to call it for today. That was unexpected, to say the least. So yeah, we must be like right at the end. Well, Just because we're right at the end, I don't know... Here, now that I've saved, let me really quick just restart the game to see if I can... see if that fixes the audio issue. I don't know how much of the game is left, so I'm going to continue until I beat it. Unless there's a lot left. See, I'll be right back.
Upload successful. Click here to view previous files. Have a pleasant day.